The Blocktalk Podcast started because of my passion for the property management industry. I wanted to start a conversation and add some value within the industry with a diverse range of people and professionals who can add something extra. As we start out, my aim is that the podcast offers some useful insight into a variety of views, opinions, thoughts, and foresights from our guests, who include business leaders and industry experts. If you enjoy the podcast and want to find out any other information, head on over to brianwelsh.co.uk. Hello and welcome to another, CPL Clientcast, where we do this quarterly and we talk about what's going on within CPL, what's going on product, team, everything like that. So joining me today are Will and Tom, and they will have their bits to do on here. I guess I'm going to start on the office-to-office challenge. So this was a walking challenge that we set up and a number of the team got involved in, and it's for our charity of the year. We managed 862 miles. We finished it. In fact, I think we were only going to go one way from our Glasgow office to our Southampton office, but then so we did it quite quickly. We decided to go back again, and we raised 789 quid, which is great. Thanks to everyone who took part, and thanks to everyone who donated. That was brilliant. So next up is, I guess, the team. I've just realized I say "I guess" a lot, so I'll maybe try and stop that. So team, right? So I think, as we've spoken about in many of these, is that we've pretty much doubled in size over the last kind of 12 to 18 months, and we're kind of just putting the final touches to that as we find the right talent for the business that fits culturally and also brings the best talent in for the roles we were looking for. And some of these have been really, really tough to fill, actually. So first of all, from a QA testing point of view, Steve and Yemi have just started. So they are picking up testing, I think, on the core product at the moment. But yeah, they're getting on great guns since they started. So that allows us to ship software a lot quicker. Finding good testing people is very, very difficult. So these guys have come on board, which is great. And we're already very pleased with all the work they're kind of putting in. A couple of days ago, Chris, who I've not actually spoken to yet because I just came back from holiday, Chris started as a product consultant. So he understands a huge amount about service charge, has worked as senior service charge portfolio accountant, accounts manager, all of these sort of things within block management companies. So he's going to be a fabulous addition to the team, especially when we launch later in the year in England. The product is ready later in the year in England, I should say. So I have the pleasure of spending a fair amount of time with them over the next couple of weeks. So teaching them the nuances of the difference between Scotland and England from an accounting point of view, which will be great fun. So you can pick up a lot of that sort of stuff. So that's been great. Claire started in working in Tom's team, telemarketing. So basically just building our pipeline of new business. So to anyone who understands the sales funnel, I guess top of the sales funnel, finding us people to talk to, and also finding people that we can talk to in the future. So that's been great. And of course, our new operations director, Fran Mexon, started as well a few weeks ago, actually now. So she's pretty much looking after everything client-facing. So sales, marketing, projects, support, implementations, that's going to be her bag, which, and we have a meeting next week, which will be our first 4 weeks. And that's kind of very much find out information and present it back. So I'm looking forward to that next week as well. So yeah, for any clients listening, I'll be introducing you to Fran over the next few weeks by email, I would suspect. So yeah, that's the team news as to what's going on. And now we need to talk about software. So over to Will.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. So, quite a lot of news with in the software field, I guess. So, firstly, we've released our next big version of Core, which is 261. That's got many updates. But to name a few of the headlines, we have a new direct debit system, which allows us to collect multiple direct debits per client. So you can set up different profiles for each owner within Core now, rather than just the one that we supported before. You can have multiple. They come for different periods, for different amounts, for different needs. So things like installments, maybe for catch-up payments, or payments towards proposed works and other things like floats, as well as just your main account. Along with that, we've also now launched full support for GoCardless payments. So we have full integration with the GoCardless system. You can sign up your clients to GoCardless through an email link. Really simple. They get an email link. They can sign up to GoCardless. Core then will receive those details from GoCardless, and you can collect the direct debits directly from the system without having to run your export every month. It will just take over automatically and take that payment for you with the GoCardless system. We've also integrated with another payment provider called Blink. We now have another way to take payments online and also over the telephone in the office using Blink as the payment provider. Part of the 261 rollout meant that we've also improved our deployment process. So we've got a new install framework, which allows us to update Core on the desktop a lot quicker and easier than we did before. It works with a lot more systems like terminal servers, Citrix, and also Azure VMs as well. So there's a lot easier integration there. It's also going to mean that we can react to problems and issues on site a lot quicker and easier than we did before as well. So really excited to have that go live. It's going to be a lot of time saved for everybody there. Alongside Core, we've also released Connect, which is our web-based product. So that's the web-based product for the property managers, which includes the case recording, user tasks, recording, and also processing. And that's web-based, so you can use that on the go, on your mobile, on your tablet, when you're at the office. So it's really going to help property managers sort of log and record things when they're out and about. And that's just the first phase of Connect. Obviously, we've got a lot more work that we want to do there as well. In terms of what we're currently working on, we are looking at the service module for the rest of the UK. So we've been having lots of consultation, writing quite a hefty specification for that, which we are starting to build into our product. Chris Burrell, who Brian mentioned, started with us recently. He's a sort of product expert in the English market, and he's been helping us massively to make sure that we write the best service module that we can, that has all the bells and whistles. So it's been really exciting getting his feedback on what we've done so far and how we can make it even better. We're also creating a brand new client portal. So we're redesigning it from the ground up. So it's going to be a lot faster. It's going to have an improved login and sign up process for the owners, which is going to be easier to navigate, and mainly it's going to have much better mobile compatibility. So users will be able to browse it a lot easier on their mobile phones. And alongside that, we're going to be adding a lot more functionality, which I'll be able to let you guys know about in a lot more detail in the future. At the minute, we are looking to release phase 1 this year, which will be a complete redesign, but offer everything you had in the current portal and more on top of that. Back in looking at the core product on the desktop, we are also working on a new bank rec system. We currently have phase 1 released now, but phase 2 is to implement more automation to that, so that you can download your bank exports from your banking provider, upload your data into the system, and reconcile against that with some automation in there to sort of automatically rec things which the system can recognise are already present, and to just speed up that whole process for the property managers. We've also got an improved spell checking system coming to core as well. We do have a spell checking system currently, but this one's going to be a lot better in the way that it recommends the corrections, and also it will support different language sets as well. And then finally, we are currently developing a brand new SMS system, which is going to tie in with your correspondence and also your debt recovery. So you can have features like texting your clients if they've not paid their bill in a certain amount of time before they fall into the normal debt recovery process. Just give them a little reminder. And lots of other stuff, but that's the kind of headline items we've been working on at the moment this last few months.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Will. I guess the couple of, just pick up a couple of things about what you said. GoCardless, certainly, that kind of takes away any processing internally for the property factor or block management company, doesn't it? Because because the process is entirely seamless. There's the CPL's link with GoCardless just happens entirely seamlessly. So
yeah, exactly. That's it.
So that's a good one, because there's far less work to do. And also, just to point out one other thing about GoCardless is that it also includes instant bank pay, doesn't it? So
yeah, that's right. I did forget about that. Yeah,
instant bank debit. So they can do instant bank pay as well. So whether that's on the portal or whether that's getting a link sent to them to do an instant bank pay through open banking. So again, that's another thing that's being brought forward, because I'm guessing, and he says it again, that the cost of a transaction for a instant bank pay is far less than the cost of a transaction for a credit card.
That's right. The payout is quicker as well. So,
yes, very true, very true. Okay, cool. Excellent. Thanks for that, Will. Right. No, and Tom is going to talk to us about how he's seen the kind of market and buying and these sort of things happening over the last 3 months.
Yeah, so we've been pretty busy, I would say, over the last quarter. We're getting an increasing amount of interest from housing associations. I think they're finally coming to this realization that, housing management systems, as powerful as they are for housing management, they're not factoring systems, and they have these modules that they can make do with, but they're not particularly powerful or feature rich. And so obviously with the legislation that's set out in the Property Factors Act, there's obviously a significant amount of data to process, do it correctly, make sure it's accurate, but also maintaining all of that within a single system, and making sure that, if you've got somebody off ill, somebody can quite easily come and pick that up and kind of carry it on from that point onwards. So I think a lot more housing associations are seeing this operation as less of a necessary evil and starting to understand, okay, we want to provide the best possible service to our clients. So how do we do that? And so obviously that's where CPL comes into effect. So, we work extensively within the private factoring industry, and it's been a really successful product within that. And it's led us to innovate and introduce new features and functionalities. But we're now in a position where we can start to offer those to housing associations and allow them to let their owners, see the benefits of that. A lot of housing associations that I've been speaking to over the past few months, it's surprising how much of their processes are still extremely manual. And not only just manual, still using kind of archaic techniques. There's still Excel spreadsheets that are having to cross-reference when they're sending out invoices. If they're utilizing an older direct debit system, they're having to utilize Excel spreadsheets in the same way, cross-referencing, understanding who's made payments, who hasn't, and then generating new reports and sending that out. Which seems nonsensical, especially when I speak to them and we look at how automated CPL is from all of those aspects. I think they're starting to realize, actually, we didn't realize that there's a system out there that can automate a lot of these processes. And, it's a case of, like I mentioned before, it's not only just allowing your clients the additional functionality, but it's also providing your property managers with the best possible software so they don't feel handicapped in any sort of way. And so, like I said, this last quarter has been extremely busy for us. We've onboarded a number of housing associations that have kind of seen the light, I would say. We've had some pretty positive feedback. I think one of them said they were overcome with joy after seeing some of the features that we can offer within the portal. And just being able to get information out to owners very quickly and very easily. It makes a huge difference in their day-to-day operations. So it's been really eye-opening, especially for me, to kind of understand how housing associations operate in comparison to private factors and kind of what they're used to. So that's been really, really good for us. But also, we're in this push in the background to start to expand into the rest of the UK. And so this is a project that is likely to be launched later on in the year. As Will mentioned, we're going through the specification with that. We've got new members of staff coming on board to help us with that. But we're already starting to get nibbles from interested parties in the rest of the UK. London seems to be a really prolific area for us, for people that are looking for a system that kind of goes that extra step. I think we've benefited from developing a system for the Scottish legislation that has kind of forced us down this route of, really taking a deep dive on providing transparency to the end client or leaseholder, as they would be called in England. And that's something that systems down there haven't been doing. They've kind of sat on their hands a little bit and kind of taken the market as it came, whereas we're looking to really disrupt that and kind of bring the software that we've developed so well in Scotland and offer that to an entirely new market. And the feedback that we have been getting is kind of solidifying the fact that we've made the right decision. CPL definitely seems leaps and bounds above what is currently available on the market. And so for me, this is a really kind of exciting period that we're in. It's going to be, I think, a pretty transformative year for us. We've got a lot of people coming to us saying, we need better software, and the feedback that we're getting is that CPL is definitely the solution that they were looking for. So it's a really exciting year that I can see coming up.
Good. Excellent. No, it has been, and I've been on a few of those demos with you, and they have been quite eye-opening. Both HAs and also block management companies in England. Yeah, as to I guess what they're having to deal with, which a huge amount of, in fact, most of the property factors in Scotland just take for granted every day that their software will do for them. Yeah. So,
absolutely.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Good. So I think I only have one other thing to talk about. This is something we've been kind of thinking about or working on or milling around or throwing around or something for the last kind of 3 to 6 months, and that is how we should we change our brand. Yeah, so the CPL brand has been around for 13-14 years. It has to be said that it was put together on the back of a fag packet because I smoked 20 a day in those days, and I had to come up with a name very, very quickly when I did the management buyout. And so we are going to be launching a new product brand over the next few months, or maybe a few weeks, or at some point, very, very soon. Okay. So, and the idea was CPL is extremely well known in Scotland, and if you say CPL to a property factor, I probably 9 out of 10 people will have heard of it or know what you're talking about. Whereas we don't obviously have that available to us when we move into other markets. So the thought process around it was to come up with a brand that kind of more sits with what we do as a company. Maybe not company brand, but product brand. So there's a huge amount of stuff going on with that at the moment. And as I say, it will launch in the next, before we do the next client cast. There you go. There's a deadline for us to make sure we hit. And then we can talk about it in the next client cast in 3 months' time as well. So yeah, really, really exciting. And it would probably be a bit further on if I hadn't just taken a couple of weeks off. Because I whilst I'm probably not the best person to do anything from a branding point of view, I'd certainly like to see it before we sign it off. So yeah, that's really, really exciting, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, does anyone have anything else they want to pitch in before we go and close off for the?
I think it's maybe worth mentioning that, like Will said, this new update has brought Connect about, and so we kind of want to engage with everybody and kind of showcase what it can do and how it can benefit. So if anybody is interested in kind of booking a demonstration, then make sure to get in touch with us and we can run through it with you, explain the benefits, how it can kind of fit into your daily operation, and take it from there.
Good. Great sales pitch then, Tom. Excellent. Will, have you got anything else?
I don't think so, no. I think I've said everything I need to, but yeah, thanks.
Good. Okay. Thanks everyone for watching, listening, wherever you've heard this, and yeah, catch the next Clientcast in about 3 months' time. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.